Madam Speaker, Madam Speaker, it is always an honor and privilege to rise in this honorable house to make my presentation
other than your own?
to these sectorial debates.
Permission to speak from a seat?
I'm right at my seat, right at my seat. I deliberate.
You don't normally sit at your seat.
I'm right at my seat.
Huh? Huh? Where is Denise?
I don't draw the Constitution today. Where am I at my seat? Yes. Madam Speaker, can I continue?
Do we have a fire hazard right there? Do we have a fire hazard? Because I am seeing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 persons.
There's no one behind him.
Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker.
No, Member Daley, hold on, please. I don't want to lose any of your time.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. Today, I do
no,
so...
Member Daley, hold on. I want to hear your presentation, Member Daley.
Let's get all the issues she has out before the lady starts. Any other issues? Thank you, Lord.
Eh?
Thank you, Lord.
Are we okay now, Madam Speaker?
After the temperature is fine.
Madam Speaker, can I proceed? Or are you going to give me back the time?
No, I'm going to start the clock again, so that's why I don't want you to lose any of your time. So members, please once again make welcome the member from St. Catherine Eastern, who will make her presentation.
Thank you very much, Madam Speaker. That sounds very much like it now, Madam Speaker. Madam Speaker, it is always an honor and privilege to rise in this honorable house to make my contribution to the sectorial debates. Today, I do so as a proud member of Parliament of St. Catherine Eastern. One of Jamaica's most historic constituency, very dynamic, industrious, starting from De La Vega City, Greendale, Windsor Heights, Larriston, Twickenham Park, straight along to Ferry, even though some wanted to claim it before. Today, I begin by giving honor and thanks to the Almighty God for His continued guidance. I also wish to express my sincere appreciation to the Leader of the Opposition, Mark Golding, for assigning me to this important portfolio, which speaks directly to the dignity, protection, and the well-being of some of the most vulnerable members of our society. To my family, I thank you. And Madam Speaker, I believe we have created history today because my brother, who don't come nowhere near this kind of politics or parliament, he's my only brother in Jamaica and he's in the gallery with me here today. Mr. Hilton Daley. Madam Speaker, I also have, because I heard a member saying that I don't have anybody up there, but all the people were mine, you know. They didn't know that, so I trick you. Madam Speaker, I have the Spanish Town Primary and Junior High. Spanish Town Primary, Madam Speaker, one of the greatest primary schools, and the minister would agree with me that they won the Central Championship and the national championship in terms of athletics. And they are here with me today. We have also, Madam Speaker, the principal and one of the coach, and I believe 2 teachers that are here with us today. And Madam Speaker, not to mention my constituency, they are out in full. Some out in the park, waiting. And some watching on the television. To my family, thank you for your constant love, prayers, and support. To my counselor, and one just stand, Councillor Keisha Lewis, Norman Scott, and guess what? I heard the minister bragging about 4 out of 4. But guess what? I have 3 out of 4, but I have the mayor. Enos Lawrence from the powerful De La Vega City, and he's inside here with me today. And Donovan Guy, who sent me an apology that he would not be here today. Miss Audrey Hudson, my secretary, my CDF officers, Miss Prendergast, Mr. Walker and Mr. Tennant, my CPO, my driver, Dave, and the hard-working staff of my task force. I thank you for your commitment and dedication. Madam Speaker, it is my firm belief that the true measure of a nation is not found in the height of its buildings or the size of the economy. It is found in how we treat those who depend for protection from us. Yes. Today, I rise to speak on behalf of women and men, girls and boys, our senior citizens, and persons with disabilities. Even though their circumstances may differ, they are united by one common expectation: that their government should protect their rights, uphold their dignity, and create opportunities for them to live safe, productive, and fulfilling. Right. Madam Speaker, I now turn to the portfolio of gender. Too often we hear the words gender affairs. Our minds immediately turn to women. While women continue to face significant challenges that demand urgent attention, gender affairs is not simply about women. It is about women and men. It is about boys and girls. It is about creating a society where every Jamaican has equal opportunity to live free from violence, discrimination, and unnecessary barriers. Madam Speaker, there are 19 women serving in this honorable house. Yet, statistics tells us that approximately 1 in 4 will experience some form of gender-based violence during her lifetime. Madam Speaker, just think about it. 1 in every 4. Madam Speaker, this means that our mother, our sister, and even some in the walls of this parliament, this chamber, probably exposed to domestic violence. Despite the laws, policies, and public education campaigns introduced over the years, gender-based violence continue to rob too many Jamaican women of their peace, their security, and their lives. Madam Speaker, we have all become too familiar with this cycle. A woman is killed. The nation mourns. We block roads. We burn tires. We have news. We have headlines. Then, like clockwork, we hear those heartbreaking words. She had reported him before. She was trying to leave. The warning signs were there. Yet the intervention came too late. Madam Speaker, prevention must begin long before another funeral. It is also important that we understand the distinction between homicide and femicide. Homicide refers to the unlawful killing of a person. Femicide, however, refers specifically to the killing of women and girls. Most often following a pattern of domestic abuse, manipulation, violence. This distinction matters, Madam Speaker, because the required solution differs. If we continue to treating every femicide as simply another homicide, we will continue responding after lives have already been lost. Instead of identifying the warning signs that would prevent these tragedies, the UNFPA described Jamaica, Madam Speaker, as the second highest rate of femicide globally. Every woman lost leave behind grieving families, communities that have forever changed. Madam Speaker, this is why I believe it is time for Jamaica to establish a national femicide registry. Such a registry would allow us to collect, analyze critical information, including previous reports of domestic violence, restraining orders, police interventions, and other indicators of escalating abuse. It would enable policymakers, social workers, and law enforcement to identify patterns, improve interventions, and ultimately preserve and save lives. Madam Speaker, while we must confront violence in our home and communities, we must also acknowledge that violence has evolved. Today, abuse no longer ends when someone leaves the house. It follows them onto their devices and social media. Cyberbullying has become one of the most significant threats facing our young people. We have seen lives damaged by online harassment, the non-consensual sharing of intimate images, cyber stalking, and public humiliation carried out behind anonymous screens. Words typed in seconds can leave emotional scars that last for years. Madam Speaker, we also cannot ignore the rapid advancement of artificial intelligence, AI, as an erroneous potential to transform every sector we can think of. But, Madam Speaker, like every powerful tool, it can also be abused. Today, women and girls have become targets through creation of deep fake images and digitally manipulated content intended to humiliate, exploit, and intimidate them. Young men are also increasingly exposed to cyber fraud and harmful digital influences that shape unhealthy attitude towards women and relationships. Madam Speaker, technology must never outpace our values. We must begin developing legislative safeguards, public education campaigns, and digital literacy programs that equip our citizens, especially our young people, to use these technology responsibly while protecting them from abuse. Our schools must also become a part of this conversation. Cyberbullying, digital footprints, and the responsible use of AI should form part of the broader discussion about healthy relationships and responsible behavior. Also, Madam Speaker, as we conclude today as Mental Health Month for men, Mental Health Month. Today is the 30th. And as we conclude the month, we must also confront another silent crisis unfolding across our country. Too many of our men are suffering quietly. Yeah. Too many continue. And I think some are over there to suffering quietly. Too many continue to battle depression, anxiety, substance abuse, and emotional distress without ever seeking help. Madam Speaker, if we want healthier families, we need healthier men. If we want safer communities, we need emotionally healthier boys who grow into emotionally healthier fathers, husbands, brothers, and leaders. That is why we must expand access to mental health services, strengthen community-based counseling, encourage mentorship programs, and continue breaking the stigma around mental health. Madam Speaker, supporting our boys does not lessen our commitment to girls. A truly equal society leaves no one behind. So, Madam Speaker, that is why the gender-responsive budgeting remains so important. Public resources should reflect the different realities experienced by everyone. Investment in mental health, violence prevention, educational support, parenting initiative, public awareness campaign, and services for survivors should not be viewed as expensive. They are investment in generation that build this country. That's right. They deserve our protection. Yet, Madam Speaker, despite the growing need of our aging population, Jamaica still lacks dedicated legislation to comprehensively protect our senior citizens. The Elderly Care and Protection Act was first proposed in 2024. I wanted to listen to this, Madam Speaker. And you know, it's so sad. We are now in 2026, and the legislation remains outstanding. So I ask again, where are we with this act? With more than 320,000. Now, Madam Speaker, it's when I turn back to the act, I am very sad. Because when we want to get certain things done in this parliament, we move with speed more than lightning bolt. And when it comes to the poor and vulnerable, we keep creeping and crawling. Madam Speaker, with more than 320,000 Jamaicans already over the age of 60, and that number projected to increase significantly over the coming decades, this legislation cannot continue to gather dust. It must provide meaningful protection against all types of abuse and financial exploitation. It must strengthen reporting mechanism, establish minimum standards for care, and ensure that those who abuse the elderly persons are held accountable. Madam Speaker, a public servant may dedicate up to 45 years to Jamaica. Their taxes are deducted every single month. Their statutory contributions are processed automatically. Yet, when retirement comes, the system suddenly stops or slows down. or crawl. Months and even years pass. Meanwhile, pensioners are still left wondering how they will purchase medication or simply put food on their table. Madam Speaker, that is unacceptable. Retirement should not be. Madam Speaker, retirement should not become a period of financial uncertainty after a lifetime of faithful service. The opposition, therefore, is recommending that pension files begin verification process at least 1 year before retirement. Every document should be reviewed, every discrepancy resolved, and every approval completed before the employees leave the public service or the private institution. Pension payment should commence immediately upon retirement, not months and years after. While speaking, Madam Speaker, while we modernize the system, let us not forget those already trapped within it. There are pensioners who have waited far too long for what they have already earned. Any reform must include a plan to eliminate the existing backlog so that those currently affected are not forgotten. While new retirees benefit from an improved system. Madam Speaker, another issue deserving urgent attention is the impact of inflation on our pensioners. As the cost of living continues to rise, many fixed income pensioners find that the value of their pension steadily diminished. A pension that once provided security can gradually become insufficient to meet even the most basic needs. Madam Speaker, since these people live to become pension age, why do we want to kill them now quickly? Because they cannot afford basic food. We must therefore examine whether additional safeguards are necessary to ensure that pensioners are not pushed below the poverty line, simply because the cost of living continues to exceed their income. Madam Speaker, another issue receiving far too little attention is the growing digital divide. Technology undoubtedly brings efficiency. However, efficiency should never come at the expense of accessibility. Many senior citizens do not even own a phone, much less smartphone. They don't even know where the internet is, Madam Speaker. Many have never even received a formal digital literacy training. And all you can hear about now, they must go online, go up and up, go up and stop, and all kinds of things. As a result, they often find themselves standing outside cashless banking facilities, confused and frustrated, trying to access their own money that belongs to them. Some are forced to hand their card to even some thief, criminal, reveal their PIN. They want some relatives, they give their relatives their PIN, they don't get back any money in there. And they have to rely simply because they have no alternative. It's either they hand over the PIN and lose some money and get some food, or you don't hand over the PIN and you starve. Madam Speaker, no Jamaican should have to compromise their financial security simply to access their own money. Cashless banking must never become people-less banking, nor should it become defenseless banking. We therefore recommend that every cashless banking facilities that have an ATM machine and government offices provide digital services have trained customer service representatives to available throughout banking hours to assist elderly persons requiring support. These officials should be clearly identified that they don't put on any bogus vest and become scammer too. Support should never depend upon luck or the kindness of a stranger. It should be part of the service itself. Madam Speaker, the elderly have already done their part. It is now our turn. Madam Speaker, I turn to a very touchy topic for me. It is very emotional for me, and it's persons with disabilities. Every Jamaican deserves the opportunity to live with dignity, independence, and equal access to opportunity. The principles must, regardless of person's physical ability, intellectual ability, or any other disability, ensure that they are protected. Madam Speaker, the Disability Act represented a significant step towards our country's upliftment. However, legislation alone does not transform lives. It must be reviewed, strengthened, and implemented. Madam Speaker, the Act clearly provides that a joint select committee review should take place no later than 3 years after it came into force. Since the Act became effective on the February 2022, that review should have been completed by the 14th of February 2025. Yet, Madam Speaker, we are now well into 2026. The minister spoke the other day. Nothing was mentioned about it. The review remained outstanding. Indeed, even the committee, Madam Speaker, the Joint Select Committee, has not been established up until now. So I asked the minister, how much longer must persons with disability wait? How much longer will family and children wait? Surely the right of persons with disabilities cannot be placed on hold. Madam Speaker, too many government buildings remain inaccessible to wheelchair users, including this very parliament. And it was about 2 years ago that they said they're going to check every government place, every private place. They're going to check schools. I had to put up all type of things in my school. And up until now, even the one that we are into, have nothing at all to access a wheelchair. So, too many entrances, Madam Speaker, still have steps alone, while ramps should be where ramps should be. Too many public facilities remain difficult, or in some cases impossible to navigate. Right. The opposition therefore proposed that the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities undertake comprehensive accessibility audit of every government facility with clear timeline for corrective actions by the start of the next financial year. Every government ministry, agency, and public building should have published accessibility improvement plan. Madam Speaker, one of the issues that touched me the most while preparing this presentation was hearing from a mother whose child is still waiting to be assessed for disability. Madam Speaker, this child should now be preparing for secondary school. Instead, valuable years have been lost while the family waits for an assessment. Madam Speaker, no child should lose their years of learning because the system moves too slowly. month a child waits for assessment is another month of delay intervention, delay support, and delay opportunity. That is why the opposition is calling for a scholarship to encourage more teachers and professionals to pursue specialist training in the disability assessment, special education, speech therapy, occupational therapy, and educational psychology. Madam Speaker, the Hope Experimental School that our dear comrade leader, father, established, served generation of Jamaicans, children with disabilities with distinction. Its contribution to our country cannot be overstated. However, one school cannot carry the burden for the entire nation. I therefore recommend that at least 2 schools in every parish be identified and upgraded to accommodate children with disabilities. Madam Speaker, it doesn't even need the entire school. It can be at least 2 classrooms retrofitted in order that it can be accessible to persons with disabilities. Madam Speaker, nobody can tell me that it's hard. It can't hard like Nara. No parent should be forced to travel across parish boundaries simply because suitable educational facilities do not exist. Madam Speaker, before I take my seat, permit me, and I'm asking you to permit me. I ran very fast because I don't want any mic turn off on me. To make one final observation. Our nation is presently engaged in an important conversation regarding the proposed third country arrangement. As we participate in that discussion, I'm going to choose my words very carefully. No, because I know why. Because I don't want you to twist me up. Madam Speaker, protect me. I encourage every member of this honorable house to revisit the autobiography of one of Jamaica's renowned writer, Claude McKay, entitled A Long Way from Home. Although it speaks of his personal journey across nations and continents, it is a story about identity, belonging, displacement, and the universal search for dignity. It reminds us that behind every policy, every debate, and every headline are human beings with hope, fear, don't care what they did, families, and dreams. As legislator, Madam Speaker, may we never become so consumed by policy that we lose sight of the people whom those policies affect. Our decision must always be guided by justice, compassion, and respect for human dignity. Madam Speaker, that is the Jamaica we should all strive to build. I thank you.
Well done, Denise. Yes.
House Leader.
Madam